Okay, so here we have our first instruction to begin our descent. So I'll acknowledge that. Bring the throttles back to probably idle. We're going with this altitude here. Okay, so I'll bring the altitude down to 2,000 feet because I don't think it will step down like it does when it's climbing. So that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll increase the speed. I'll try and keep the speed at about 250, 260, what we were cruising at. So I'll just increase the throttles again there just to bring the speed back up. So if we have a look at our GPS here, so you can see we're just passing over Edinburgh now, so we've still got, let's see how much distance we've got. We've still got about 100 nautical miles to go and we're already beginning our descent. So what I'm going to start thinking about is I'm going to start thinking about what's waiting for us in Inverness, because if we have a look out the window right now, you can see obviously we have the thick blanket of cloud. So we could be looking at a complete instrument approach, but let me just have a look at the METAR, because unfortunately there's no ATC for Inverness Airport. So I'm going to have a look at the METAR just now, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'm going to kind of put it on, edit it into the video afterwards. So it looks like the winds are coming from 230 at 21 knots, so strong winds, but they're coming down the length of runway 23, which is good. Visibility is perfect. Saying here minus DZ, DZ, I don't know what that means exactly. I'll need to look that up quickly. Few clouds at 2,600, scattered clouds at 4,000. So cloud coverage shouldn't be an issue once we get under 4,000 there. Yeah, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, so I had a quick look at that minus DZ on the METAR there, and it basically means light drizzle, so a little bit of rain up there, but you know, there's nothing that we won't be able to handle. Yeah, so we're just progressing along our descent now. We're at 28,000 feet. Let's bring up our descent checklist and have a look. So descent, so airspeeds, so we want our kind of approach speed and things like that. We want to start considering those now. I have no idea what the total weight of the plane would be now. Oh. Okay, so you can see that air traffic control are now going to start vectoring us towards the ILS runway 23 approach. So from now on, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be flying to air traffic control instructions. So when they give me different headings, I'm going to fly to those headings. So we're not going to be following our GPS route anymore. So we're expecting an ILS approach. So what I'll need to do is now flick back onto nav radios, because we'll need to tune those in so we can obviously fly the ILS. With regards to VREF, I still haven't got a clue what the VREF needs to be. I'm guessing it'll be around 140, about the same as we took off with. Yeah, I'm gonna guess a VREF of 140. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so let's get the checklist back up. There we go. So auto brake as desired. So what we'll do is we'll go up to level 2 for the auto brake. So basically that's just again, it's a computer system on board the plane that will automatically slow it down once we land the plane. So I think it's like the general conditions for that to activate are if the throttles are idle and the main landing gear have touched down, it will automatically start to brake. And the same thing will occur with the speed brakes as well, but we'll kind of arm those later on in the approach. So de-ice, we won't need any because it's still 7 degrees out of Inverness just now. Autopilot, we'll use that to control our altitude and heading as we get a bit closer to our arrival. Thrust levers, I'll actually bring those back and I'll start bringing the speed down to about 250. Because by law, I think planes when they're underneath 10,000 feet in the UK need to be under 250 knots as well. So I'll just bring the throttles back there. Let's just start bringing our speed down gently. And the air traffic controller are going to do is they're going to tell me to turn left, right for a little bit. So turn there. Altimeter set to local settings, so that was 0994. Now I need to work out what that's going to be in inches. So if I get my little converter up again, so I'm doing the conversion of my phone here. So if you bear with me 2 seconds, I will get that information. Let's see. Millibars. 0996 millibars is 29.41. So we'll set that when we cross 18,000. So we've still got a little bit of a way to go yet. We're going to level off at 20,000 unless we get another instruction from air traffic controller. But it'll be down here. We'll set it to 29.41, and we can do that by changing the or rotating the dial or the knob just up here. Avionics. Yeah, let's start getting our avionics set for runway 23. So I do actually have the approach charts for Venice because I do all my little VFR flight unit up there. That's runway 5. I don't want that one. Sorry, I'm just flicking through the pages I've got in a little folder here. 05. I don't want 05. It's 23. Okay, ILS VOR DME runway 23. So I'm not going to be following the VOR procedure where we directly fly over the directly over the airport, do a big loop around, and then land like I showed in my approach procedures tutorial. Air traffic controller are going to vector us onto the ILS approach path or the localizer and the glide slope there. So just follow the instructions basically. So start bringing the speed down now because we're going to be dropping below 10,000 feet soon. Yeah, so I've got my approach chart there. So what we're looking for, INS 109.2. So if I bring up my, get rid of that first of all, bring up my radio stack. Oh, come on guys, give me a break. Okay, so nav 1 needs to be 109.2. So we'll flick that across to active. We have movement down here, a VOR INS, which is good, that matches my chart, so we'll just listen into the Morse code as well. Make sure that that is actually INS. Excellent. So, get rid of that. Oh, give it a rest, lads. Right. So we'll go full idle now, and we'll pick up our descent rate a little bit. Actually, let's have a look at our GPS there so we can get a better idea of where we are exactly. So you can see we've got Inverness up here, they're taking us up towards Lossiemouth, but I'm guessing they're going to start kind of turning us, and then we're going to intercept the localizer and the glide slope there. So so we've got the localizer all dialed in. No, we don't. we need to set the course around to the runway headings. So that will be 235, I think is the game. I've got 234 on my chart here, but I think it needs to be 235 in the game. Yeah, because the game and the real world's chart are slightly unmatched there. Cool. So it's all looking like it's in order. Cool. And I think that is ready to go. I've got it all set to nav, so that should pick it up there. We've got Inverness there. We've got the course of 235 DME, so 34.7 miles at the moment away. So that is all good, as far as I can tell. Right, so that's all my avionics and bits and pieces set. Airspeed is now below 250, so I'll bring the throttle back in a little bit. Don't want to go too slow for too long. So I'm not going to be using the autopilot for speed, but I'm going to still use the speed bag on the side here as a kind of guide. Sorry, just as a kind of like an aim point for my speed. Landing lights can all go on. Let's see, I think if I just do that, yep, they're all on. You can see now we're getting a bit closer now. We're going to start breaking through the cloud layer. Approach procedure review. Yeah, I've already pretty much covered most of that with setting up my radios and stuff. So I think we're all good. Not yet. I need to dial this down to what did I say? It was 2.41, 29.41. Need to double check that on my phone actually. You can see I've not prepared this properly at all, so this is probably going to be the worst example of an ILS approach. Oh, now what? Yeah. They should be sending me to Lossiemouth. Yeah, so should have everything set in there. 0996 millibars is equal to 29.41 inches of mercury. So we got that all dialed in now. Give it that. Have a look at the virtual cockpit there, so you can see we've got the coastline there now approaching. If we start zooming in, we'll be able to see the localizer for runway 23. So they're probably going to start turning us to the left shortly. They'll probably drop us down to about 2,000 feet or something as well. 2,100 feet maybe. Auto brake is not set according to that, but it should be, yeah, so auto brake set there. So start looking at the approach as well. We'll not start acting on the approach checklist yet, but we'll start getting an idea of what will happen when we start getting to that. So airspeed, we'll need to start controlling that a bit better. Thrust levers, I'll be controlling those manually. Flaps, we'll start putting those out once we turn right. I'm not convinced you're gonna. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, so what I'm also doing is there's actually sort of two knobs here. You've got the inner knob which controls the actual heading, and then the outer one will control how much bank angle the aircraft has. So now that we're starting to get down a bit closer to the ground and a bit closer to the airport, air traffic control are going to want sort of quick maneuvers. So they want quicker turns. They're going to want you to kind of follow the instructions a bit quicker. So I'm going to set the turn. to 30 degrees of bank. And usually a pilot will have maybe 10 degrees of bank when they're cruising, because it's more comfortable for passengers, so the plane can be turning, you can stand up comfortably and walk up and down the plane. Whereas if you're banking over at 30 degrees, it'd be pretty difficult to walk up and down the aisle of a plane, for example, you know, when the plane is sort of banking over that steeply. So there we go, so we're going down there to 2,400, so that's going to be our kind of our final descent instruction, and then we'll probably, we will be vectored to intercept the localizer and the glide slope at that altitude. So you can see they're starting to turn us towards the left now, gently. Oh wow, they're bringing us over Kinloss. Don't think you get away with that in the real world, guys, but kudos for trying. So that'll be Kinloss just down there. So I think after the next turn, that's when I'll start putting flaps out and I'll start getting the speed down to between 200 and 150 knots. I'm not going to worry about controlling the speed with the autopilot anymore. Yeah, I think that's mainly for sort of takeoff and climb, and sometimes cruise. So yeah, so we're about 4,300 feet now, so we're minus 2,000, so we're 1 minute away now from levelling off. I'm expecting another turn instruction before then. Have a look here. Okay, so there we go. So that's us kind of cleared for our approach now. So what I'm going to do is you can see we're going to start to level off now at 2,000 feet. So I'll get the throttle going again, so we don't lose too much speed. I'm also going to activate approach hold in a second. Now I'm not seeing any indication for glide slope. It should be popping up, or I've seen it pop up on the right hand side, usually on the right hand side of the primary flight display, but I'm not seeing anything there. So I'm not sure if the plane's going to grab the glide slope or not. I hope so. So we'll go approach hold now. So what should happen is once we get a bit closer to the localizer, the heading hold should automatically disconnect and the plane will automatically turn onto the localizer, and also hopefully when we capture the glide slope, the altitude hold will disconnect, and we'll start descending, descending taking me into the runway automatically. Now the visibility is good, so I'll probably end up disconnecting the autopilot completely quite high up and then flying a sort of a manual approach, but hopefully the autopilot will just get me sort of lined up with the runway properly. Now that we're getting down a bit closer, I'm going to start putting the flaps out to help bring our speed down a little bit. So be mindful that as we put flaps out, it's going to create more drag, so we're going to need a bit more thrust to compensate that. So flaps up to 5. So that's pretty much all of our approach now is going to be covered in this next phase. and we'll look at landing in a second, hopefully once we get lined up. I'm crossing my fingers now that the autopilot's going to take care of it for me. Yeah, so we'll look at landing and stuff. Okay, so what I will do now, before I forget, is actually arm the speed brake. So you can see we got a little light up there, so that's basically the spoilers on top of the wing. So once we touch down, the spoilers should jump up and helps slow the plane down. There we go, so the altitude hold is gone and the heading select is gone. So now the plane should start turning us. So put out some more flaps there. Increase the power as well. So you can see now we're turning to line up with the localizer, the pink bar there. You can't see Inverness because it's hidden behind the checklist here. Just about see it there now. Yeah, good, excellent. And I'm still worried about the descent there. I'm not sure if that's the autopilot descending or if the plane's just naturally starting to descend. It's climbing up again. I'm not convinced that the plane's got the altitude there. Put some more flaps out. What we'll also do now is put the landing gear out. Okay. Right. So that was me just disabling the autopilot. I'm gonna fly it manually in from here. Because I'm not convinced that the autopilot got the altitude there. So airspeed is coming down to 150. That's good. That's a good speed. Thrust levers are good. We'll just increase them slightly for more to compensate for the drag. Need to move across. Landing gear is down. We've got 3 green lights over here. Flaps, we'll put them out to 30. So will be flaps 30. Speed brake is armed. Autopilot as desired. So the go around altitude was 3000 for Inverness. I should have set all this up before now, but never mind. Heading, we'll set it to 235 runway heading. And I believe that's everything. Yep. Landing roll. We know how to land a plane, never mind. Right, go away. Right, now I need to focus on this because I'm too high now. So it's the same principles as flying a light aircraft. You know, you control the rate of descent with your throttle, your pitch with your airspeed with your pitch, and it's same principles. You just kind of balance it all out. Hopefully our ground speed will be quite low when we touch down, because we had, I think it was an airspeed of about 20 knots, but it was running sort of directly down the length of the runway, so that should help us land and slow down safely. So we've got 2 white and 2 red lights on the PAPI lights there, all good. I haven't contacted Inverness Tower, have I? Whoops. Yeah, I know, I'm there already.
Runway 23, QNH, Niner 90, Delta Niner 11, cleared to land. Runway 23.
Clear to land and land. Yeah.
Cleared to land.
Right,
Runway
leave me alone.
23, Delta
Okay, so a bit too high. So just reduce the throttle now, just help the speed come down a little bit more. So just lift the nose up, help the speed come down to about 140 hopefully before we touch down. Got the weather doing its thing as well. Okay, all looking good. Right, so throttles to idle, and then we'll start flare. Ooh, that's a bit of a hard touchdown. But we're down, we're on the runway, that's the main thing. And you can see the brakes are enabled there. So that is the auto braking system. Put the spoilers down. Come on, give me my brakes back. Okay, never mind. Okay, so that's us down at Inverness, safe and sound. So yeah, I think that might be an issue with the auto braking system, is that you can't. I tried to manually override it there with my joystick, my trigger on my joystick, but didn't work for some reason. So it brought the plane to a complete stop and in record distance. Because normally when aircraft, the 737 lands at Inverness, it rolls right to the end of the runway. Like it's not like a dangerous roll to the end of the runway, but it's a comfortable runway for 737s. So what we'll do is we'll just follow that as well. And also what we'll do is we'll start cleaning up the aircraft. So we'll bring the flaps all the way up, bring the landing lights out, and just get all of this stuff out of the way.
Delta 911, exit runway when able.
Yeah. So okay, see, it's a bit of a dreary day in Inverness, but not too bad. There's that minus DZ, that light drizzle. Excellent. So yeah, so it wasn't the most perfect approach and landing, but you know, I'm not used to flying big jets. That's my excuse anyway, and I'm sticking to it. So slow ourselves down and turn off to the right here. You can have a look at the windsock there. You can see it's practically horizontal. Again, that, as I said, that wind speed probably helped us as well. That was like 21 knots, like blowing directly on the front of the plane, so that probably helped bring us to a stop as well. I didn't even have to put reverse thrusters in at all. So that was good. That was good. I think the touchdown on the main landing gear was a bit hard, but not bad for the first time I'm flying the jet in ages. And from experience I know the Golf 1 is the first gate on the left here. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to jump into the spot view for this, so I can see, just so I can see the line. There, and what I'm going to do also is just drive beyond the stop point there, just to make sure that the tail is clear of the taxiway. Okay, so we'll jump into the cockpit, settle down, engine noise. So checklist, so taxi and speed brake lever is down, lights, flaps are up, transponder, not worried about that. Parking brake is set, fuel control switches. Both to cut off. Oops, didn't want that. De-ice off, don't know where it is. Lights, don't know where they are. Can't be bothered switching those. Flight director off. So there you go. So that's an IFR flight from Luton to Inverness. I'm not sure how long the edited video is going to be once I've uploaded this, but if you've watched this far, thank you very much. I'm not sure how I managed to keep your interest for this long, but if you're still here, I'm glad you're here. So thank you very much. In my next video, I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. It's going to be another tutorial, but I'm not sure what sort of subject is going to be on yet. So stay tuned for that. I'm also might do a midweek announcement. I might be planning something, but I'm not sure if I want to commit to it yet or not. So keep an eye out for that if that happens. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you very much for watching. Take care out there, and I will catch you later.